the bank. So that $20 million or the $4 million you're proposing could have been used last year to help business owners, right?
Well, actually, we did use a good amount of the funds that were set aside.
Sir, I'm going to make sure I get my time.
Oh, no, I'm going to let you have your time.
Mr. Mayor, that was a finance trick what you just pulled. Because immediately after you put that money on the books, you withheld that money because you declared a fiscal emergency. And the Daily Breeze came back and said, why are you declaring a fiscal emergency? You ain't got $31 million. I may be crazy, but I got a memory like an elephant.
Okay.
No, we ain't done yet. What we did with that one. Office of Emergency Management Services. Why do they need a 221-page report on $146,000 worth of furniture? Expenditure fraud. So let's see. And this payment for this invoice. Why was this invoice submitted April 24th, demanded payment April 24th, then there has to be a council action to pay it when it was submitted April 24th?
Thank you very much. Those are all really great questions. Ordinarily, we don't answer public comment. I guess this time we won't either, but I sure would love to. But anyway, with that, we'll close public comment, and we'll go to item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Warrant register.
Move allow payment.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members, successor agency members, and housing authority members. Gray.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Buds.
Aye. Madam Clerk, what's the next scheduled matter?
Yes, Mayor, the next scheduled matter is a public hearing to consider introduction of an ordinance approving zoning code amendment 223-00001 to modify Chapter 12 of the Inglewood Municipal Code to permit automatic car wash facilities in the MU-C zone.
Has the notice hearing been given in time, form, and manner as required by law? And do you have the affidavit on file?
Yes, Mayor, affidavit is on file.
Have any communications been received?
No communications have been received, Mayor.
Is there a staff report, Mr. City Manager?
There is, Mr. Mayor. Planning Manager Mindy Wilcox will be presenting.
Ms. Wilcox, welcome.
Afternoon, Mayor and Council members. Before you today is an applicant request for a zoning code amendment to allow car washes in the mixed-use corridor zone throughout the city. In the Inglewood Municipal Code, car washes are only allowed as ancillary uses to gas stations. The application was submitted in January 2023 of this year. And on May 3rd, the Planning Commission recommended approval subject to additional requirements. I'm just going to wait a moment for my slides. Let's see. Oh, did I need to open it?
Here comes an
Sorry.
expert. Okay, so wait, hold on a second. Which one? Oh, okay, got it.
I apologize. I needed to open the file.
No problem.
So on May 3rd, the Planning Commission recommended approval subject to additional requirements. Just to give you a little background, the mixed-use corridor zone was created by the city's transit-oriented development plans and is located in 4 different areas of the city. The first shown here and highlighted in green is on Imperial Highway. The next 2 shown here are located on La Brea and Market Street to the north of Florence and on a portion of Centinela. And the 4th shown here is on Manchester just to the east of the 405, the first few blocks. This map here shows the existing car washes in the city. There's a existing car wash located in the center of each of those circles. And ultimately, what the Planning Commission recommended is that the car washes be allowed in the mixed-use corridor zone, but subject to, first, a requirement for a special use permit. And this would allow the application of site-specific conditions and would also encourage the development of quality car washes. The next requirement is that they only be allowed on a minimum lot size of 26,000 square feet. This would contribute to preventing an overproliferation of car washes and prevent car washes from being located close to residential uses. The next requirement is a 1,500-foot distance separation from other car washes. And again, this would also work towards preventing an overproliferation. And then limitation on the hours of operation and location of vacuum equipment, which would minimize noise impacts on the community and surrounding residential. And so that's the extent of the Planning Commission's recommendations. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions you may have.
Okay, with that, we're going to see if there's any public comment on the matter. This is the time for public comment.
Based upon what I remember, this is an overproliferation of car washes here. Because you just had a car wash on La Brea, doing an extensive amount of work on remodeling their facilities. So what is the pressing need for this car wash? And what really caught me off guard with your presentation, Ms. Wilcox, it wasn't one car wash, you said a number of car washes. So when does it get to the point, because it goes back to that
You're going to
era.
need to get closer to the mic if
It
they're going
went
to hear
back to
you.
that area with the council. I remember at that time, Dorn was the mayor, took action to stop the limitations of or the overproliferation of hair salons and beauty salons. What we have here, and if I remember correctly, only 3 members were available at that planning commission meeting with 2 there. So what it appears like that well-connected people with money are getting special treatment. It is time to level the playing field. If those all the car washes in Inglewood, what about Jason Hawthorne? Stop robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? With that, we'll close public comment. Or if there are no council comments, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I do just have a,
Councilwoman Gray.
thank you very much. Could you just confirm the information you gave? Because I heard something different from the public speaker. My understanding is that this ordinance is only, it applies citywide, but there's only one car wash that has the application in at the moment. Is that correct?
Well, this would be a citywide code amendment.
Right.
It would affect all the mixed-use corridor zones that I went through earlier. And so there, in some of those, there appears to only be one potential segment of the mixed-use corridor zone that could allow for modifications or a new car wash. And so that's what we determined.
So there's one car wash that's being looked at right now in terms of the ordinance?
There is no site-specific application in at this time. If the council determines to approve this, then it would allow an application to be
Any of them.
submitted for a special use permit to either propose a new car wash or even modifications to a car wash.
Okay, thank you.
But Ms.
Thank you.
Wilcox, even though they would apply for an SUP, that doesn't guarantee they get it. They have to go through another process and review before the special use permit is granted.
Correct.
So it doesn't do it by right now. It just allows you to do it if the city approves.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Alex.
Go ahead, Alex.
so just a comment. Look, I know in my district, I have a car wash that was put in like 7 years ago, something like that, at 64th and La Brea. Some of the residents had concerns because it butted up against some of the houses over there. And like a lot of things, before it happens, people are up in arms and thinking that it's going to be worse than it is. And then once it went in, it was amazing. Not one complaint, not one, right? Because the folks were responsible, the planning commission's recommendations were followed. as it relates to the noise, relates to the hours of operation, the wall that was in the back that stopped the echoing from going beyond into the residential areas. So it all worked out. And I see the recommendations here being, the separation, all that stuff that we have. So I think it'll be good for us. I'm looking forward to, allowing some of these businesses to continue to grow and be successful.
Councilman Morales.
Thank you. I'm in the same lane on that. I appreciate it. I think a lot of things that you pointed out make sense in terms of now we're saying, hey, if you fit in this corridor and you do these things, that's it. It's difficult to come in and buy property there and build a car wash. So you're not going to see this proliferation of it. What this does, though, is it allows the existing ones to upgrade, whereas they weren't allowed before. And now things have changed since we had the ordinance. And I recall the ordinance that said you can only do it if you're attached to a gas station, which made it extremely difficult. The logistics were extremely difficult and minimized the possibilities. So that never worked, right? And so the only one literally that probably came in during that time was the one Alex is talking about. That being said, the reason I like this is because it really allows us to upgrade. Some of it could become the self car washes that happen. Those are things that start coming into play, and finally they can improve what they have right there. So I like this. I like the fact that we're including it in a CUP process. So it's more of those that we're just kind of coming into the times, right? Things have changed for car washes. It's brand new. So I just wanted to comment that, I get what you guys are doing and I appreciate it.
Right, it gives more people business opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it does. So,
Want a motion,
I want to make
Mayor?
one more comment, if you don't mind, Mayor.
yes, Councilwoman Falk.
Thank you, Mayor. So I do appreciate all the hard work Chris Jackson, Mindy, and everyone else on his team has put forth in this this agenda item. The reason why I feel like it's very important is because, as we know, Inglewood is growing. And what we want to do specifically is make sure that our small businesses grow with us. And so this provides an opportunity for small businesses like car washes to continue to grow and succeed in the city of Inglewood. And so this one is in my district, and I'm hoping that things will continue to grow well and they will be able to meet the requirements to continue to exist. It's very important. So we want to do that. We want to support our small businesses right here in the city of Inglewood. And this provides that opportunity, that vehicle for them to succeed. So thank you so much.
Could I have a motion for item 2?
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye.
Motion away for the reading.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. Who would like to introduce?
I'll introduce me.
With that, Madam City Clerk, what's the next scheduled matter?
Yes, Mayor. The next scheduled matter is a public hearing to consider introduction of an ordinance approving zoning code amendment 23-00003 to amend Article 17.3 to include the amended master sign plan for a 29.5 acre CR zone property at 3900 West Manchester Boulevard.
Has the notice of the hearing been given in time, form, and manner as required by law, and is the affidavit on file?
Yes, Mayor. Notice has been given and the affidavit is on file.
Have any communications been received?
No communications have been received, sir.
Mr. City Manager, this time.
Yes, Ms. Mindy Wilcox, Planning Manager, will give the staff report.
Ms. Wilcox, it seems you were just here.
Good afternoon again. Before you today now is an applicant request to modify the forum's sign overlay zone master sign plan. Back in 2013, the forum's development agreement and entitlements for renovation were approved. As part of this included approval of the sign overlay zone master sign plan. The sign overlay zone included signage regulations specific to the forum as a major event facility, and it included provisions related to banners, rooftop signage, parking lot surface signage, electronic signs, and others. For electronic signs specifically, the sign overlay zone included requirements related to allowable light levels and a minimum refresh rate, which effectively resulted in this display of static images only. Earlier this year, the forum submitted a request to remove the minimum refresh rate from the sign overlay zone regulations, but leave all other regulations in the master sign plan as they are currently approved. On May 31st, the Planning Commission recommended approval of this request. And in closing, and to reiterate, today's action would simply make one amendment to remove the minimum refresh rate and incorporate the previously adopted 2012 sign overlay zone ordinance as section 12-38.79.1 of the municipal code. That concludes my staff presentation, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
Okay, before we open for public comment, most people want to understand what that change does. We're removing the minimum refresh rate. You open it up to be a full motion video.
Correct.
So anyway, so we just want the public to understand that. Are there any members of the public that wish to comment?
I remember the refresh rate, so it's 8 seconds. So I would take validity in the staff report, but there were 2 letters, one in support, which was, and everybody know Kia Form is owned, if you guys don't know, by Steve Ballmer. And he got a significant amount of money for the naming rights, and none of that has come to the city yet. But then there was an opposing law firm, was Pincinelli Law Firm, that represents Wild Media.
Need you to go closer to the mic, sir.
Pincinelli Law Firm that represents Wild Media. Now, if we have a complete staff report, I should have those 2 letters of opposition. So someone's not being as truthful as they should be, or omitting the truth. Because now you have communications, right? You have one letter from Steve Ballmer in his DC comic Fortune Land, and then you have one from Wild Media, which has been a huge supporter of this city and has given a lot of money. This reminds me of that dispute you guys had with MSN and SoFi, where you guys made a bunch of series of commitments to MSN, and come to find out you guys lied about that. So I would like to benefit before you guys vote on it. I would like to benefit before you guys vote on it to see the letter of opposition from Wild Media. That's a fair compromise, a happy medium. Would you agree?
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, with that, again, if there are no other council questions or comments,
I do have questions, Mayor.
Councilwoman Gray.
Thank you very much. Can you tell me the response or some of the concerns that the communities may have in that area regarding, because it does, it's different, because before the board was static, now it will be live, it will be animated, so forth. So what are some of the concerns that people have expressed in that community?
As a commenter mentioned, we received a comment letter before the item went to the Planning Commission. That was included in the record at the time, a comment letter from the applicant as well as Wild Media. And the comment at that time was related to various issues related to the light levels. However, the light levels are not changing or not proposed to be changed as part of this amendment. And related to the CEQA analysis.
So what is the conflict with Wild Media in this particular board that's going up? What are the issues there? Is there any impact to the city because of the 2 different boards that are going up, the new one going up? Is there any impact to the city?
Not that I'm aware of, and Wild Media did not submit a comment letter as this request went forward to City Council.
So there was no letter from Wild Media?
No.
So as far as you know, there is no financial impact to the city because of this?
I don't have information on that.
Would anyone have, city manager, would you have any information?
I don't have any information on the financial implications of this action today.
Okay. But in the concerns that the community expressed, are they passed on to the forum in terms of this project?
Because the letter previously
Ms.
submitted,
Wilcox, what did she said the community. You've talked about, wow, they're not the community. They're a city partner. And so she's asking about the community. Have you received
Right.
any comments from the community?
Resident, right.
Residents?
no.
Okay. Okay, that's the
Okay.
end of that.
That was the question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Morales.
I think the unique thing about this situation is that it belongs to our entertainment area. I think that, you know, much of the comments and much of the beliefs when it comes to billboards, and WOW has been a great partner of the city. We've done a lot with them. We will continue to do so. But this is the forum. And we all understand, you know, the impact that their boards have on the traffic and how they need to obviously move into the space where all entertainment venues are. We have an entertainment district there. I don't know if we how official it is, but that's what we call it. That's what we refer to it. Them along with SoFi Stadium and then the arena. I believe that that's a space where it's unique in the way we handle these kind of requests. I'm supportive of this. If they had it further down by, I don't know, the freeway or up off of Crenshaw, it'd be different. We would be looking at this different. But we're in a space where these kind of changes make sense. Obviously, we want all our venues to succeed, and obviously, we want to succeed with the partnerships we have with all the boards. So here, as the mayor clarified, there's one request. They're not saying we're going to add a board. They're saying, hey, now we want the board to move into the 21st century. And either we accept it or we don't. So I'm glad Councilwoman Gray asked if there's any proponents from the residents that feel one way or another. There isn't. These are big decisions, but they're decisions that we make weighing all of those things. That being said, those are my comments, Mayor. Just wanted to.
Councilman Padilla.
Thank you, Mayor. I just, for clarification, we're just right now looking at removing the 8-second minimum refresh for this. All other parts of everything that applies to the forum there is the same, status quo.
Correct.
And I can tell you that having family that lives in and around that whole area and driving through it, I've not had one person complain, say anything negative. They're always surprised by how beautiful that signage looks and how bright, nice the colors are and how they change at night, because they're not as the LEDs aren't as bright. I forget the name of what they call it, but everything is controlled. So at the day, it's brighter. At night, it dims. So it looks, really nice at night. We've always been like, wow, So I think this is a great move to continue to allow our city to grow. And this is great for our entertainment district, and it's the right thing to do, in my opinion.
All right.
Yes. I just want to pretty much reiterate everything that was said here. I think that it is a great opportunity. WOW is a great partner of the city of Inglewood. I myself get excited about the WOW billboards. I think that they're great. I think that they add a lot to our city and also the Kia Forums billboard as well. And so I think that it's a wonderful opportunity for Kia to step up their business and have a better advertisement board and succeed. And so I too support this effort. I think that there's opportunity here for small businesses as well as our large enterprises. So I support this effort. Looking forward to seeing their new billboard and seeing their new ads.
Okay, I hate myself because I'm going to have to speak, and we have an
Oh,
8-page
man, I've
agenda.
never
and
heard that
I feel
before.
terrible about this, but look, let's distill this down to what it needs to be. First of all, that board was made a digital board as part of the development agreement that was signed with Madison Square Garden when it originally came up. Is that right or wrong?
Correct.
Okay, now, the change being suggested means that now, since there's no refresh rate, that it can be full motion. And so the problem that WOW would have, and they are a city partner, and we derive 50% of the revenues from their ads, would be that it would be competition. The reality is that that board faces primarily northbound, and it's smaller, and it would not have the programming time for advertisements that we have on our WOW boards. And so it's a different niche in the market. If you advertise on the WOW boards, you get your ad put up all over the city, as opposed to if you pay there, you get it put on that one board. Is that right or wrong?
That's right.
Okay, I like that. And so the reality is that while there may be some encroachment on city revenues, it shouldn't be significant, because if you're the type of advertiser that wants exposure citywide, you're going to go with the WOW boards. And so we believe that those can coexist. I think Councilman Morales said if it'd be different if these boards were going to be all over the city, it'd be a different thing to think about. Okay. All right. With that, is there a motion to affirm,
Move
no,
item
number two?
Move item 2.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye.
Motion waive further reading.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye.
I'll introduce.
And that is done. And now, item 2.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on March 21st, 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Recused myself. It was not a sitting council
ma'am.
member.
You almost, though.
Almost, but not quite.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. I'm going to pull item 3 for a brief comment by the city attorney.
To this one, we're requesting that the matter be pulled and be brought back for a later date. I would like to provide the council with a new memo regarding that issue.
So that item is pulled. Now, the consent calendar, items 4 through 9.
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR1.
Staff report recommending that the mayor and council members adopt a resolution, 1, providing Champion Grant Assistance Award to eligible Inglewood small businesses and Inglewood nonprofit organizations negatively, thank you, impacted by the COVID-19 public health emergency through the use of American Rescue Plan Act grant funds, and 2, amending the fiscal year 2022 through 2023 budget to approve the appropriation of $4 million.
Move approval.
Second.
Before we call for the vote, I'd like a brief description of the program so that our small businesses that may be watching
Nonprofits.
and nonprofits will know how they could apply.
Ms. Kiana Williams, our new economic and community development, our new economic development manager, will give the staff report.
Welcome, Ms. Williams. You're so new, he doesn't even know how to pronounce your title. All right. Have your microphone on. Now, there you go.
Okay, thank you. I am excited to be able to announce or share with you the opportunity for small businesses and nonprofits here in the city of Inglewood. So with the $4 million allocation, we have the opportunity to service upwards of 300 small businesses and nonprofits here in the city. I have information here on eligibility of the small businesses and nonprofits. So here, small businesses that qualify are businesses with less than 25 employees that have experienced a decrease in revenue or gross receipts, increase in costs, and other challenges, including payroll, lease, inability to pay their mortgages as a result of the pandemic. Nonprofits that qualify for this grant include 501c3s and 501c19 organizations. That does include faith-based organizations, although funds cannot be used specifically for the use of religious-based doctrine. The timeline, we have a pretty aggressive timeline. You know, as a result of the state of emergency, we are eager to provide these funding resources to our small businesses and nonprofits. So upon approval, we are ready to launch our website. We've worked quite well with ITC, and so the website is already developed. And the portal in which applicants will submit their applications is ready to go live. We will have a launch event, both in person and online, where we will provide kind of hands-on support to help small business owners and nonprofits walk through the application process, ensuring that they have a full understanding of the document requirements to ensure that they are eligible. Now, considering the amount of funding, there may be some eligible businesses that don't get funding in this round, right? We are, however, hoping that we do have a proliferation of businesses and nonprofits that do apply because we want to provide that much needed support. The application window will close August 23rd. With a few weeks of review of the applications, we have a economic opportunity committee that will be providing the full review, at which time we will present the recommended applicants to the city manager for approval and award in mid-October.
Okay, thank you. Is the source, I know the answer, but is the source of this relief the ARPA funds that Mr. McCoy was talking about?
Correct.
Okay.
The source is the ARPA fund.
Okay, and the reality is that it isn't just that you come up and say, I need $20,000 or $25,000. You have to produce documentation that shows, one, you're in business pre-pandemic.
Correct.
Two, that your business or your nonprofit was affected during the period of time when there was closures or maybe you had to pay people when there weren't people coming, or health regulations didn't allow you to operate your restaurant. And if you can prove that you bridged and made it this far, that you're eligible. Is that right?
Absolutely correct.
And there will be a committee that looks at these and prioritizes this, so it isn't you just everybody that applies gets $20,000. It's not.
No,
it.
that's not the case. And in fact, we do have a scoring criteria that involves consideration of certifications. For example, businesses that are certified as disadvantaged, women-owned, minority-owned, LGBTQ businesses, businesses that are located within the 2 opportunity zone census tracts that we have here. We are requiring tax documentation provided for tax years 2019, 2020, and 2021. An economic impact statement will need to be provided where we are asking that you provide a written narrative of the impact that was experienced and the approach to circumvent, to the extent possible, the impacts from the COVID-19 pandemic, whether you were able to retain employees, if there was a loss of employees. We are requesting all of that information.
Okay, and one of the things that we might consider, you likely would have a lot of small business people that are not, they're not as business savvy and aware as some would be, and we don't want to exclude people because they have a business but they don't have a business background. And so do we have a methodology so that people can call and get assistance in interpreting what these applications mean?
Yes, we will have a website, a phone number, and email address specifically for this Champions Grant program where interested applicants can call and ask any questions. Again, we will also have the in-person event where we'll walk through the instructions of how to complete the application, the required materials, and what would make one eligible for the program. We will also upload a webinar onto the city's website. So if individuals who weren't able to attend the in-person event or watch via Zoom, they can always refer back to that webinar for more information.
I have a quick question. Will the information be provided in Spanish?
Yes, the information will be translated into Spanish.
Okay, and will the webinars also have the ability to be listened to in Spanish as well as the workshop?
That's great for consideration, and I'm pretty certain that we can partner with an organization that will provide those translation services
I
and the
think
headsets.
that's important, and I think it's important that when folks call for the actual help, that they be allowed to speak to someone in Spanish as well.
Thank you for that.
Okay, so you'll have to come in, Eli.
I don't mind. If I have to, I will. If I have to, I will. But I'm telling you, I think it's important that we balance out.
It's very important.
Right.
Councilman,
that.
Councilman Padilla.
You know, and again, I just want to thank you. Great presentation. But it's imperative that our community understands that this is not only for businesses, but also for our nonprofits to take advantage. And, you know, we get so many phone calls and inquiries from business owners saying, what are you going to do for us to help us continue to be a success? And this is one more step in that direction. But again, folks, please share this when you go to your local businesses here in the city of Inglewood. If you belong to any of the nonprofits or you know any of the nonprofits, please make sure they're aware of this. I know we're going to be putting all this information on our social media. We're going to be blasting it out there. We all have our newsletters. We'll put it in there. You know, we just need to make sure that the word is out there, and I know we're doing that. But above that, people have to take advantage of the opportunity and apply. And we will have folks available in Spanish and English to walk you through the process. So we're trying to make it as smooth as possible to apply, because we know that at times you look at something like this and just looking at the paperwork overwhelms you. I know it does me sometimes. When I read some of these staff reports, I'm like, whoa, you know, but we're going to have somebody walk you through the process. So please take advantage of it.
Are there any other comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray and then Councilwoman Falk.
thank you. I totally agree with all the comments of my fellow council members, and thank you for the presentation. You know, it's great to have a program, but to make sure that people are aware of it, and Councilman Padilla kind of alluded to how we can get the message out, but what is your overall plan to make sure? And another question is, and you may know this already, how many businesses are there here in this city?
Yes.
And how do you plan to reach out to them? Because they really need to know that this is a great, wonderful program, but they need to really know about it.
Yes, we have approximately 5,136 businesses registered here in the city, just over 225 nonprofits. And so program details and requirements, application forms, the timeline, application submission, grant award distribution, where to get additional information will be communicated through available city communication portals, community centers, the city's website, social media platforms, City Hall, Inglewood libraries, as well as the district and community centers. So we are looking to cover all bases to ensure that our residents, our small businesses, and our nonprofits are fully aware of the resources that we want them to have access to.
Yeah. And, you know, a test for that, and I assume that's kind of your normal way of getting information out, right? So I would like to know, you know, at the end of the program, at the end of the period in terms of applying for the program, how many businesses actually did this, right?
Yes.
And so I encourage you to, at some point, to let us know if that worked, because I'm always interested in getting information out. That's the key.
Yeah. That's really important to us. And we actually, there are two things. We do have to report back to Treasury on the number of businesses that were assisted and the amount that each business or nonprofit received. So we will have that data. And we're also planning to do testimonials with businesses, right? You know, maybe a few months down the line, how did you actually utilize the funds? And how were the funds able to support you in either maintaining, sustaining, or even growing your business here in the city?
And you have that information by district when you do
Yes.
report back? Great.
Yes.
Thank you. Very
Councilman Falk.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple of comments. Thank you so much for the presentation. Very, very informational. My first comment is that I know that we will be presenting in English, and we will also be looking at presenting the information in Spanish, but we do have other nationalities here in the city of Inglewood. So I would like for us to consider if there's other requests to present the information in other languages that we try and accommodate as well. That's my first comment. And then also, a lot of times, our community members, they're so busy, overwhelmed with just like their businesses, that they might need like assistance with completing the application or have specific questions and stuff. So I would love it if we could consider maybe like some kind of in-person forum where our small business owners can come out and have an opportunity to ask questions in person and kind of do a hands-on interactive type of meeting so that they can understand how to apply, make sure that they check all the boxes and get their application in correctly and hopefully get approved for this funding. So those are the two things that I'd also like for you to consider. So thank you so much for the wonderful presentation.
Councilwoman, she said that there's going to be a forum, if I heard you correctly.
Yes.
I didn't hear, okay, I'm sorry. So it'll be an in-person interactive forum?
Yes, we'll have an
Nice.
in-person interactive forum
Okay.
at the senior center where we'll also have access to PCs in the event that, I mean, we would hope that all business owners have access to the internet. But, you know, again, we want to cover all bases and make it as easy as possible for people to access these resources. So PCs will be available, and we will walk individuals, our businesses and nonprofits through the process of application and also have that recorded webinar available online. So, and that in-person event will be available via Zoom.
Okay.
That's perfect.
And finally, you know, some of the most popular and the most cherished businesses in the city are run by people that, like you said, don't have internet access, and they are working 50, 60 hours a week. So I think it would be helpful, since everybody that runs a business gets a water bill, if a notice could go out in the water bills. Secondly, we have public service time in our agreement with our advertising provider, that we could also put the program up on the wall boards so that people would see it directly when they drove. So that's my last comment. With that, is there a motion?
It's already moved.
Oh, yeah, okay. With that, Madam City Clerk?
Yes, council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye, thank you, Ms. Williams. DR2.
Thank you.
Staff report recommending that the mayor and council members approve amendment number 1 to the memorandum of understanding between the South Bay Cities Council of Governments and the City of Inglewood regarding the use of SBCCOG's allocated County of Los Angeles Innovation Grant Funds to implement the city's homeless coordinator project.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Mr. Mayor?
Hold on one second.
Aye.
Councilwoman-
Can I ask for-
Councilwoman Gray?
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask for just a brief comments on what this program is all about, because we do have a homeless coordinator here and a homeless team, and that subject has been brought up quite a bit in this city. So I'd like to hear some comments about
Absolutely.
program.
Good
Thank
afternoon,
you.
Mayor and council members. Thank you for your time and attention. Yes, this is an amendment number 1 to the agreement with the South Bay Cities Council of Governments to implement a homeless coordinator position. If council will recall, about a year ago, you approved an agreement with the South Bay Council of Governments. And so with that agreement, it allowed the city to utilize Measure H funding to hire an organization to administer a homeless services coordinator position. So right immediately after receiving the funding from the South Bay Cities Council of Governments, the city went out for requests for proposals to see if there was any interest in any service providers. And so the city received a request from the St. Margaret Center to be the service provider. And so in February of this year, we retained the services through the request for proposal with the St. Margaret Center. And they, in May of this year, hired a coordinator, a homeless service coordinator specifically designated to the city of Inglewood. And what that means is that this homeless service coordinator would streamline the homeless services for anyone experiencing homelessness, and they will work directly with our housing division and the Inglewood Mental Health Evaluation Team, the IMET team, to better service our homeless population so that they experience less homelessness in the city of Inglewood. I hope that answers some of your questions.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And just to be very clear, Ms. Chavez, St. Margaret's has always been an outreach for homeless issues in the city. Is that right?
That is correct,
Okay,
sir.
and so the only thing that changes from this is that now, because of these grant funds from the South Bay Council of Governments, of which Inglewood is a member, there's an additional person that is there solely to focus on issues of Inglewood homelessness. Is that right?
That is correct.
So this is an expansion of attention to the issue, but it's not new. Is that right?
That is correct, sir.
Thank you. Was there a motion already?
Yes, sir.
And a second?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All this talking. Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. 01.
Staff report recommending that the mayor and council members adopt ordinance number 23-13, establishing pay range assignment and conditions of employment for fiscal year 2022 through 2023.
Motion to waive further reading.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Is anyone going to move adoption?
Adoption.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Remind everybody at 3 o'clock, we all turn to pumpkins. A1,
Thank you, Mayor. No other reports from the city attorney's office.
CM1,
Thank you, Mayor. No oral reports from City Manager's office.
CC1.
Yes, Mayor, thank you so much. I wanted to acknowledge the fact that I attended, as well as my deputy, we attended the Inglewood Music Fest over the weekend this past Saturday. It was fantastic. It was so nice. And again, I would like to thank everyone that came out and just adhered to all of the, just being in a right mind and enjoying each other's time and allowing us to have a good time. So I want to thank everyone for being on their best behavior. And then lastly, Mayor, I would like to wish all of our residents a happy 4th of July. And please, please, please celebrate safely. Thank you, Mayor. That concludes my remarks.
Thank you very much. CC2,
Yes, monthly treasurer's report for the month ending May 31st, 2023.
receive and file. CC3,
Staff report recommending that the mayor and council members provide direction to the city clerk regarding the general municipal election of 2024 by selecting one of the following.
Move to take number 2. Recommendation 2.
hold on. I'll second that. Or did you second it already? Or I'll second that. Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Success Agency is in session. CSA2.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on March 21st, 2023.
Move approval. Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Successor agency members Gray.
I abstain from that.
Yes. Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. CSA3.
Monthly treasurer's report for the month ending May 31st, 2023.
Receive and file. Adjourn the successor agency, the housing authorities in session. H2.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on March 21st, 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Housing authority members Gray,
Abstain.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. H3.
Monthly treasurer's report for the month ending May 31st, 2023.
Receive and file. Adjourn the housing authority. The finance authorities in session. F1.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on March 21st, 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Finance authority members Gray,
Abstain.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. Adjourn the Finance Authority and the Parking Authorities in session. P1.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on March 21st, 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Parking Authority members, Gray,
Abstain.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. Adjourn the Parking Authority. The JPA is in session. JPA 1.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting held March 21st, 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Joint Powers Authority members, Gray,
Abstain.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. JPA 2.
Monthly Treasurers Report for the month ending May 31st, 2023.
Madam City Clerk.
Yes, sir.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Receive and file. Adjourn the Joint Powers Authority. Their appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. Councilwoman Gloria Gray nominates and I appoint Leonard Redway to the Construction Appeals Board. Is there anyone move it to move concurrence?
Second.
Okay, who moved concurrence?
Oh, I thought you moved.
No, I just
Alex
nominated.
I did.
Alex
Second.
and
I'll second that.
Aloy. Okay, Madam City Clerk.
Council members, Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Councilwoman Gloria Gray nominates and I appoint Michael Ector to the Civil Service Board of Review.
Move concurrence.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members, Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Now, with that, at 2:55, let's see here. Public comment. Any persons wishing to address City Council on any matter connected with city business not elsewhere considered on the agenda may do so at this time. 1 minute, please.
Good afternoon to the great city of Inglewood leadership. I just wanted to thank you for the concert. I know in June, a lot of things are celebrated. And for me and many Black people, this is Black Music Month. And I really appreciate what happened at Darby Park. That's my old hangout. And I didn't know if you would pull it off, but it was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Hearing none, we will close public comment and we'll go to council comments. Councilwoman Gray, District 1.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Let me congratulate the city for the music festival this past weekend. I heard it was absolutely fabulous, so congratulations to everyone involved and the community for coming out. There was an item on the agenda that had to do with the election, and we chose November and for it to end in 25, I believe.
24.
24, November 24, but if it's a runoff, 25. But I wanted to make note that that item, because of what we recommended and shows, it saves the city rather, $700,000. So I want the public to know that. So that's a good reason to make that choice. Also, the questions that I've been asking for on agenda items and so forth, and my fellow council members, I think it's very important because it shows transparency. I think it's important for the public to know about certain items. So I want to make that comment. That is my reason for doing that. It's really transparency. I want to congratulate the council members, the new ones. I think, not council, commissioners, not council.
Okay, yeah.
Commissioners,
I was
Commissioner
worried for a
Redway.
minute.
Commissioner Redway, I think, is in the audience. If you're there, please stand up real quick. Did he have to leave? Oh, there you are. Congratulations. Commissioner Ector Jr. is not here, but congratulations to him, Michael Ector Jr. Also, I want to thank Gerard McCallum for inviting me to a ceremony calling, I think it was called the Topping Off Ceremony. And what that means is that at the end of a construction project, the last beam that goes into place, we have an opportunity to sign that, and that's historical. So, and I think the project was called the COSM, C-O-S-M, COSM, part of Hollywood Park's revitalization. And so I was happy to be there and to be a part of that. Also, before I forget, I want to wish everybody a safe and happy 4th of July. Also, we did have on the agenda a program that will benefit our businesses, but I want to mention that because I am planning a resource fair for the businesses in District 1. The timeframe will be July, August, and so stay tuned for that. I want to bring the businesses together in District 1 and bring some resources and talk about how we can be supportive of those businesses. My newsletter, it has started. I believe we've had 2 publications. I believe it will come out every 2 weeks. I also had mentioned that I will be meeting at the ICOP Center, and I will start doing that one day, at least a month, starting in July or August. So you can, but stay tuned for that date, and I would be happy to entertain any community member who would like to meet with me there. And so with that, again, safe and happy July 4th. Thank you.
Councilman Padilla, District 2.
Thank you, Mayor, and it was a great meeting today. Approved a lot of really good stuff for our community. I really hope that folks take advantage of these opportunities that we provide for all segments of our Inglewood community. It's important that you know that we're here making sure that we have these services available. But you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. We got to make sure folks are taking advantage of these opportunities, very critically important. So help us put the word out there. We're going to do our part, but please, if you have family, friends, any business owners, nonprofits, make sure they take advantage of these opportunities. Saturday was a busy day for all of us. I started off that day with my pickleball clinic. We had over 50 folks out there. Again, I didn't realize how crazy this pickleball stuff is, but these folks are fanatics. Don't mess with their pickleball time. You know, I made a couple of jokes, and man, you'd have thought, I thought they were gonna come and get me, you know? But everybody had a great time. We had folks there from their young teenagers to over 80, and they were out there playing. So again, I want to thank Kelvin Hodrick. So those that don't know Kelvin, he is our City of Inglewood pickleball ambassador, right? How many cities can say they have an ambassador? Well, we have one, and that's Kelvin. So I want to thank him, and also Andy Gomez. Andy Gomez is a longtime friend of mine. We all grew up together in Santa Monica, and he's with the Santa Monica Parks and Recs Commissioner, and he came out to help us with our pickleball event. So thank you to Andy. After that, we went over to Darby Park, and we chilled and listened to some great music and entertainment. Thank you, Councilwoman Dion Falk, and all your folks that helped put that event together. Very well attended. Folks from not only Inglewood, but the surrounding area came out in full support. And I gotta tell you, the performers were off the chart. Really, really well done, so thank you. Then at night, Stella and I picked up the grandson, and we took him down to, I was gonna say Centinela Park, and I did, but Vincent Park, and we went to the movies in the park, and I gotta tell you, man, oh my goodness, if you have not been to a movie in the park, you gotta go even if you don't have kids, just go with your family, friends, whoever, and just chill and enjoy a beautiful picnic at night and watch a really good movie. So Parks and Recs, thank you so much for putting that together. Great event. Now look, Saturday, if you're looking for something to do at 11:30, come join me, the council members, community folks, city staff. Stormburgers is opening up, doing their grand opening at 64th and La Brea. 64th and La Brea at 11:30. I guarantee you will enjoy the hamburgers, the chicken sandwiches, French fries, the onion rings, the shakes. I mean, their food is delicious. Come out and support, again, another new business here in the city of Inglewood. Don't forget, Tuesday is the 4th of July. Obviously, we'll be dark here with no council meeting. Enjoy the 4th of July with your family and loved ones. Remember, only use safe and sane fireworks in the evening after 5 o'clock. You can't be out there blowing these fireworks up at 10 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and then after 4th of July, be done with it. Be done with it. We don't want people lighting fireworks for the next 2 weeks. So with that, have a safe 4th of July. God bless you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Falk.
Thank you. Okay, that Stormburger looked really good. I'm looking forward to being there at the opening. I will be there. I'm going to spend my time thanking everyone. We had a really, I think it was very successful City of Inglewood Music Fest. And there was a lot that went into putting this production together. So I'm going to do some serious shout outs. First, I'd like to acknowledge Chuck Dennis. He is here in the audience today, Chuck Dennis Productions. He was very good at putting that event together. He's the one that organized the whole layout of the park and in the VIP section, the stage. He was excellent. So big shout out to him. Hopefully we didn't wear you out, Chuck, but he was really good to work with. I appreciate
yes,
you so
she did,
much.
Chuck. She did wear you out. She bugged you a lot.
I'm a lot. I
right?
know. I'm a lot. I'm a
Yeah.
lot. Next, I'd like to give a big shout out to Angela Williams. She is amazing. Thank you so much. She was so good at helping us get the paperwork through City Hall and getting through, the agreements and making sure the talent was on board for the event. So big shout out to her. She was amazing. I want to give a big shout out to my deputy, Malcolm, who's in the audience as well. He did all the stuff that we handed off to him, all those small details, and I know he was frustrated with us, but big shout out to you. I also want to thank Artie, our city manager. He is like the horse whisperer. He did such a great job of keeping me calm in certain times and kind of coaching me through. So big shout out to you. Sabrina Barnes, is she in the audience? I don't see her. She is our director of Parks and Recs, and she is amazing. We pulled her in at the last minute, and she got Parks and Recs behind us, and we were able to pull it off. We could not have done it without Parks and Recs. Emery and his team, they provided the security. A big shout out to him. We didn't have any incidents of violence, any confrontations, anything like that.
Ooh.
So, and it's all thanks to such a strong presence right here in the city of Inglewood. So big shout out to you. I also want to thank Brittany Murray. She did all of our social media. She helped get the word out because we kind of got up to a close deadline. So she was excellent. Thank you so much, Brittany. Our social media team, Thomas, Katie, Carlos, y'all did it again. Thank y'all for being there and covering the event. The pictures look amazing. I also want to thank Ashley and Marzette, Ashley Marzette, Sabrina Miller. If you don't mind, can I get one more minute, Mayor?
30 seconds.
Okay,
Go
30
ahead.
seconds. I want to thank them for definitely being there, being on the ground to help with all of the last minute details. And then I want to also thank my husband, who is my ride or die. I want to thank him for being there and helping assist with all of the work and kind of being somebody else to back everybody up. Lastly, I want to thank our mayor and council members. They are, I'm going to read what I have for them. Thank you so much for all the behind the scenes support and encouragement of this event. There were times that I was close to giving up and making this event happen, but your support helped me to keep the vision alive. So thank you. And lastly, I want to thank our SoFi team, specifically Jason and Randall, for helping to make sure that the parking was able to accommodate our attendees for the event. So thank you all. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Everybody was amazing. Special thank you to our Inglewood residents for coming out, having a great time. And one last plug, I have invited our Inglewood Unified School District County Administrator here for our next council meeting, where we will present the check to Inglewood Unified School District for the benefit concert. Thank you, Mayor.
Man,
Councilman.
Mr. Mayor,
that's tough to follow.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, can I just make one comment? I have to congratulate Councilwoman Falk. She is my counterpart on this council, and it's wonderful to see a woman in leadership to pull off something like this. So congratulations to you, Dion. You did a great job. Congratulations.
It was a good event.
It was a good event
Good event.
regardless.
No, I mean, it's just
Councilman
what
Eloy
it did was just
Morales.
set a reminder about, how cool our events are, and I'm glad you didn't let that event die. It was tough. It was an uphill battle. You made it happen, and I got to tell you, those events, they need a champion. They need a champion to happen, and I congratulate you because we showed up there, and it was just a cool event. I just loved it, and the bottom line is that there are a lot of heroes. You mentioned a few on your team, but our parks and rec. I mean, Councilman Padilla named 3 events, all at our parks.
Yes.
All at our parks the same day.
Dang.
So I mean, talk about folks. And then we ran into some guys that set up and clean up for your music fest. They said they got there about 5 o'clock in the morning, and they were going to be there till 10 p.m.
Wow.
Happy, sitting under the shade, ready to clean up. I gotta tell you, that's the kind of team we have. I think we have an awesome team. Credit to Sabrina, credit to Teresa, and if I had the rest of their names, I would say it. But those guys, they're troopers.
Absolutely.
4th of July, enjoy it. Be safe. If you're doing illegal fireworks, that's rude. You need to stop. It really does come down to being a good neighbor. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, they're getting faster, they're getting higher, they're getting louder. And some of us have work to do, some of us have kids, and it's just rude. And if it's your kids, stop them. I mean, it's just become that. So let's have a good 4th of July. And then ultimately, I think Alex mentioned we had a lot of great things happen today. One is the small business grant, ma'am, that you put together. I think it's amazing. I really hope our small businesses take advantage of that. I'm going to do my part in promoting some of that. But it's making it easy for them. I think Alex mentioned that. That's the biggest step we made. So I'm happy with that. Outside of that, Mayor, I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, would you put up the picture of the people standing behind the barricade at Darby Park, you guys? Because I usually don't rerun stuff, but they're looking right now. That picture right there. When Dion wanted to do this, she first wanted to do it at SoFi.
That is
And
that is a great picture.
and it became quickly apparent that it would be expensive beyond belief, and we'd be holding a party for the Los Angeles region that we would spend maybe $300,000 on. And she was disappointed with me a little bit for a minute. She was disappointed with, is your name Dennis? Yes, Dennis. Did she ever call you and yell at you? Okay. And she was disappointed, and we worked together. And I want you to look at this. This is the best attended music festival in the history of the city at a park. And everybody was so chill. There was such a great ambiance. And I just want to compliment the councilwoman for wanting to do it because, I'm like Scrooge and like bah humbug, But we got it done. And and then she, when I called, I don't compliment easy, and staff knows that, but I called her. I said, hey, this is a really good thing. And what did she say? Well, can we do it like every year? I said, slow down, Pocahontas. Slow down. Let's just chill for a minute, all right? But congratulations, you did a great job.
She did.
The Miss Williams. What's this?
The beam.
Oh, the beam ceremony. You guys don't have to do that. She already did that. I don't need reruns. But anyway, that's me signing the beam. That's one of the great things about being the mayor in Inglewood these days. I've signed beams of so many buildings that'll be here forever, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a great honor. Thank you guys for putting that up, though. I also wanted to, before we talk about the dog, to talk about the fireworks. Okay, you guys. So check this out. Inglewood has evolved over the last 12 years. I mean, we've really evolved. And we're known around the country for being the most progressive city in the United States of America. And with that evolution, our crime rate has dropped, even though we still have crime like every place does. It's nothing like it was. And where we have to grow up, we have to grow up with this fireworks thing. It isn't the fireworks, it's the cherry bombs. It's setting off cherry bombs a week before the 4th of July, setting off cherry bombs a week after the 4th of July. It's about being inconsiderate to neighbors that have pets that freak out when you set off all these fireworks. And so here's what I'm gonna tell you. Everybody knows somebody that's an idiot that sets off these cherry bombs. And I think we have to like police ourselves because the police can't handle this. And it's gonna be something we as a community have to say, hey, look, you know what? When I was a child, I thought as a child, I spake as a child, I acted as a child. But when I became a man or a woman, I put away childish things. It's time for us to put this fireworks thing away, okay? It's time for us to put it away. Now, this is Rue's Kennels. Now, this is, again, part of the evolution in Inglewood. You know, we got sports down. We have the LA Philharmonic here. We have Showtime, YouTube, the Girl Scouts. You know, we could go on and on. But this is Rue's Kennels. They're a rescue operation. They rescue dogs from China, where in China, they're not considered pets. They're not considered companions. They're considered sustenance and food stuff. And they negotiate with the producers of this food stuff in China to bring these dogs here and give them homes. This is done with donated money. You may see people out in front of grocery markets, whatnot, for the SPCA, for different charitable organizations that put in money towards this. It's a beautiful facility, and I was so, you know, I go to a lot of ribbon cuttings. But when I got there for this, I said, oh man, this is an evolution in our city. It's over on West Hyde Park in the industrial area, and it's a testament to what we've evolved to, the type of organizations that come here and want to be part of this community. Now, I wanted to close the meeting in the name of Jay Stroh. He was chief of police here from like 1971 to 1981. He hired myself and Bill Thompson into the police department. He was a Torrance police officer. His father was the chief of police in Torrance in the 1950s. He left to go to the sheriff's department, and he left there as an acting captain to become the chief of police in El Segundo. And he went from the chief of police in El Segundo to be the chief here. And he was a very, very bright man. Oh, and when he left here, he was in charge of security for Hollywood Park for the racetrack for 2 years. And then he was appointed to be the director of alcohol beverage control in Sacramento. And so he had a 49-year police career. And so we're closing the meeting in the name of Jay Stroh. Thank you very much.